Want to hear something kind of crazy? We used to fix dead phones in like 10 seconds. No, I'm being absolutely serious. Some of you know what I'm talking about. You take the back off, put the battery back in, slap the back on, and you're good to go. You always bought a second battery for like 20 bucks. You kept it in your bag or your pocket. You were literally invincible. You could go all day. Now you're holding on to a sealed glass sandwich. They glued it shut for like water resistance reasons, and they told you it was for that premium feel. Psych! Just kidding. Look, I mean, that glue isn't really keeping the water out. It's keeping you out. I mean, I guess it is keeping the water out. They did have to do it because it makes it waterproof, but really, they turned a consumable part like tires on a car into a ticking time bomb that takes the whole car down with it. Your phone didn't just get suddenly slow and die at the end of the 2-year mark by accident. It was always part of the plan, and it's something that we need to address right now. So let's get it. In my video about why these companies hate it when you keep your phone, you guys went absolutely ham in the comments, like legit angry, and I love that energy. I'm here for it. Make sure you always leave comments and tell me about your experiences. I love to read them. But one thing that kept coming up over and over again is the 2-year cliff. The moment when your $1,000 device goes from an all-day beast to a landline that has to live attached to a wall charger, pretty much at all times. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You wake up at 100%, and by lunch, you're hitting power saver mode. The battery anxiety you feel when you see 12%, they engineered that. Today, we're looking at the receipts, the throttling, the updates that sabotage your speed, and the parts pairing nightmare that makes fixing your own property harder than breaking into Fort Knox. First, we have to talk about the physics of all of this. Manufacturers love hiding behind physics because they know most people will fall asleep in that class, especially when they explain things to you. Like they'll tell you lithium-ion batteries chemically age. I mean, that's true, they do. But the way they accelerate that aging, that's kind of wild. Let's talk about fast charging. You plug it in, boom, 50% in like 15 minutes. It's incredible. It's like the best thing ever. Manufacturers market this like it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, and we kind of agree. But heat is the enemy of battery. Heat kills capacity. And when they push past 30, 60, or 100 watts into a little chemical pouch, they are cooking it. Literally. They give you the convenience of speed right now, knowing that it guarantees that that cell dies in 18 to 24 months. And that's the trade-off they made for you. This is why you'll see some of those things have switches later on that's like, do you want to charge it less aggressively? The answer to that should be yes for most of the time. But ask yourself, did you ever actually ask for a phone that charges in 10 minutes, but turns into a paperweight in 2 years? Or would you prefer one that takes an hour to charge, but lasts for 4 years? You didn't really get to choose. They chose that for you. And wireless charging, don't even get me started. Listen, I've been a wireless charging fan for years before the phones even officially supported it. You could buy these little adapters for them. It's great. It's inefficient, it generates massive excess heat, and it sits there baking your battery every single night. You're paying for the privilege of killing your device a little bit faster. Now, you could call me a conspiracy theorist when I say updates slow down your phone. Oh, Travis, take off the tinfoil hat. Fam, we have some court documents. Let's get into this. In 2017, Apple got caught, not accused of, caught. They were throttling the processor speeds of older iPhones. Their argument was classic corporate doublespeak. We did it to prevent the phone from shutting down because the battery was old. All right. Let's pretend that that's the benevolent Apple at work. Let's pretend that that's a safety feature. If that were true, they would have sent you a notification. Hey, your battery's degraded. We're slowing you down to keep you safe. Go swap the battery for $70, $80 and get your speed back. But did they do that? No, they just made your phone feel like garbage right around the same time a new phone came out. They made it lag. They made apps stutter. And when your phone feels slow, you don't think, oh man, I need to repair it. I need to get a new battery. You think, man, I just need a new phone. They paid $500 million in settlements. That sounds like a lot, but for Apple, that's like finding a quarter in the couch. It was the cost of doing business for them, and while they added the battery health toggle after they got sued, the philosophy hasn't changed. They condition you to associate 2 years old with practically unusable, and that's psychological warfare. So, you're smart. You don't buy the new phone. You decide to swap the battery yourself or take it to a local shop. And this is where it gets really bad. This is parts pairing, something that I only just recently learned about. But of course, it's been around for a while. Let's say you take 2 iPhone 15s's, identical phones, same factory, same assembly line, and you swap their batteries, just switch them. There's a really good chance neither phone will work properly. Why is this? You may get a permanent warning in your settings. You lose your battery health indicator. Why? Because the battery has a serial number that is digitally locked to the motherboard. That's not quality control. They're locking you out of your own device. They're effectively saying that you don't own the device you paid for. They're not really tech companies anymore. They're these, they're almost like landlords? Yeah, they're like our digital landlords that we're paying every month for something else that's broken. They want to be the only ones who can bless the repair. And if they decide that your phone is vintage or obsolete or just something they don't want to support anymore, there's no battery for you. You upgrade or you leave. But here's some good news. The EU is finally stepping up. They passed regulations that say by 2027, portable batteries must be user replaceable. This will be interesting if this actually comes to be, because I'm kind of wondering how Apple will get around this. And magically, out of nowhere, iPhones 14s and 15s are easier to open from the back, not because Apple suddenly grew a conscience, because the governments are forcing their hand. Let's look at some of the numbers because, you know, math's kind of undeniable. And this is the part that people don't always stop to think about and calculate. If you buy a $1,000 phone and keep it for 2 years, that device costs you about $500 a year, plus your carrier plan, so a little bit more than that. If you replace your battery for $90, even at their super inflated prices, and keep it for 2 more years, your cost per year drops to $270. That's not bad. By forcing you to upgrade because of a degraded battery, they're effectively doubling the revenue from you. And it's not just the money, it's like all the things that go with it. They count on the fact that you're lazy, not in a bad way. I mean, we're all busy. Hell, I'm lazy. They know if they make the repair process a headache, booking an appointment, driving to the mall, waiting for 3 hours, wiping your data for security, you're just gonna trade it in. They are betting on the friction of that process. They're betting that you'll pay $1,000 to avoid a $100 hassle. And honestly, most of you do. Hell, I do too, because for me, I can always make more money, but I can't make more time. And we're just playing ourselves. So how do we extend the life of this ticking time bomb? How do we beat the battery trap? Well, there's the 80% rule. You know the setting, optimize battery charging? Turn it on. If you have an iPhone 15 or newer, hard cap it at 80%. Lithium-ion batteries hate actually being charged to full, and they hate being empty. It's like being somewhere in the middle is the best place to be. Keep it in between 20 and 80%, and it can literally double the lifespan of your phone. Stop the heat. Stop using wireless charging if your phone gets hot. If your phone feels hot to the touch, you're actively killing it. Stop cooking your battery. Background slaughter. Listen, go to General, Background app, and refresh. Turn it off. Does Facebook need to be refreshing in the background? No. Does your airline app need to be running every time you aren't flying? No. Every time those apps refresh, they're just firing up the processor and they sip the juice. Remember these little things? The slow chargers, they take a lot longer to charge your phone, but if you're sleeping, then who cares? Use these at night. Charge them up. It takes a little bit longer, but you're at sleep anyway. And slow charging actually creates almost zero heat. It's like a spa day for your battery, and it will allow you to not have to buy a new battery in 2 years. Look, we have to be real about this. Phone companies aren't going to stop this. They have the fiduciary duty to their shareholders to sell you new stuff every September. Like they just do. They want to make that money. But you have a duty to your wallet. Your phone isn't dead or dying at the 2-year mark because it's tired and the silicon is no longer any good. It's just thirsty for a new battery. Don't let them convince you that a $50 part means a $1,000 phone is trash. No, that's just wasteful. And to be clear, I can't let you have that happen to you. I'm here to help you figure out what these companies are doing to you. If you like this, I got more videos just like it. Make sure you check it out. Hit that subscribe button and I'll see you in the next one.